Welcome back everyone for today's video, and today we are going to start off a brand new series titled The End of Endgame Enigma. In this series, I'm going to discuss about various type of endgames and how you can secure a winning chances or drawing chances in endgames. And this endgame knowledge would make you superior than many players of your rating range. Now, endgames are very fundamental principles. Endgames are manualistic. For example, if we have a queen and a king versus a lone king game, no matter where you place the three pieces, you can easily mate the lone king. However, in openings, placing one piece at a different position leads to catastrophic changes in that position. And the knowledge of endgame is very manualistic. There are many books written about the endgames, like Selman's Endgame Manual, Dvoretzky's Complete Endgame Courses. I mixed the both names. Actually, it's Selman's Complete Endgame Courses and Dvoretzky's Endgame Manual. These are two books that mirror, and there are many other books like the 100 Endgames You Must Know, and different books. All of them are good, but basically the thing is, endgame knowledge is very important. As the time has passed, our knowledge of endgame has increased. Many people, players, go for learning opening first. They say, alright, it's a beginning phase. We want to get an edge in the opening, but that edge is of no user worth if you don't know how to retain that edge. And by knowing endgames, you would already be easily above many player above your category. Knowing endgames saves many games and wins many, while your opponent won't have that advanced knowledge. And so that is the objective of starting the series, that to improve the endgames of our viewers. So today we are with the first episode, and the name of first episode is What Can and Cannot Mate. Basically, it's about to assess you with the knowledge that there are certain pieces which can cause checkmate, and some pieces can't cause checkmate no matter how obvious it looks or it looks fancy enough. If you look at points of material, etc., it looks that yeah, they might checkmate, but well, you're wrong. And the idea about this is that you can figure out which games are worth playing and which are just draws, and you just don't bang your head, and also to learn which mates you should learn, which kind of checkmates you should learn, and on which checkmates you should not try to waste your time. So we are going to discuss these topics today in our video. If we have a king and a rook in an endgame, we can easily checkmate the opposition, given the fact that
The dominant king coordinates with the rook. Should it ever div first, but the queen can be also used to checkmate a lone king if the support of the own king is required. Due to high movement of queen, there is always a chance of stalemate, but also easier checkmates. Now we come towards difficult checkmates. These checkmates are not known by many players, even advanced players. These are the checkmates with two bishops and checkmate with a knight and a bishop. Checkmate with two bishops is relatively easy to learn, but checkmating with a knight and bishop is so difficult to learn that many players even don't learn it. Checkmating with two bishops is quite easy, as you can just see here. Bishops easily can checkmate her if you can try to form a strong fence. I would make a detailed in analysis video later on. Checkmating with the knight is tough, so many people just don't learn it. They say, all right, we are going to share a point rather than learning this complicated thing. Instead, we could just learn something else in that same time. We have discussed about what can checkmate, but now I think it's high time to discuss what can't checkmate. And there are a few things there. Some of them are pretty easy, you might know, but the last one is pretty surprising, and I think many of you won't know it, with some exceptions in it. So, the first one is king and a lone king versus a knight. You cannot checkmate with a single knight. The reason behind this is that a knight itself can't checkmate because it doesn't cover three crucial squares that can be used to checkmate the king. So that's why knight can't checkmate the king. The game is a draw. Similar is the story of checkmating with a single bishop. A single bishop and a king cannot checkmate a lone king because the bishop occupies the same two squares as knight and doesn't occupy the third crucial squares. The bishop pair, on the other hand, can checkmate the king. It is quite easy. At some point, if you know the technique, it's pretty easy, of course. And the third of these, which can't checkmate, is the most surprising one. Two knights cannot checkmate a lone king even with the existence of their own king. The reason behind that is that these two knights can't just place themselves nicely as bishops. It seems surprising that Two bishops can checkmate, but two knights can't, even though both have the same points material worth. Both of them are equal to 6 points. But the reason is that of the knight's movement, and they occupy less squares than the bishops. There is an exception, however, if the opponent king drives his king into the corner of the board, any one of the four corners, then a checkmate is possible. But if and only if you have him to go to the corner, he's never forced to go to the corner. He's also from the center or somewhere else. It would be a pretty good draw. And if you know the technique and you're playing this against your opponent should be a good score and just accept a draw.
By using the fundamental knowledge of what can and cannot mate, we can solve various kind of positions that might appear tough to an untrained eye. The following is an example. This is a puzzle and it's a draw. White is up 2 points of material and his pawn is just one square away from queening, but black can secure a draw here. Can you tell what is the fastest way of securing a draw in this position? You can pause the video right now and try to solve the puzzle on your own. And if you find the solution, it's a good thing. And if you don't, then we're going to look at the solution together. All right, so here, if you find the solution, it's a very brilliant one. All right, good. But as I told you, that two knights cannot checkmate a king unless he gets into a corner. So the point is, if we give away a rook for the pawn, the game is a draw. Amazingly, that's a draw. That's why we have the move rook takes b2. Brilliant sacrifice. No matter if king takes or knight takes, the game is a draw because two knights and a king cannot checkmate a lone king, and that's how you use practical applications of knowing what can and cannot mate to identify and assess complex positions that may seem very difficult and impossible to get an advantage from a untrained eye.
So I do think this is a suitable point for ending our video. You must understand after watching this video how important endgames are. The knowledge of endgame would help you secure positions in many kind of different positions. Winning advantages and drawing advantages would be yours. Knowing what can and cannot checkmate will help you assess which checkmates are easy, which are not worth learning, and just drawing would be easy and which are impossible to learn. So just don't even look at the theory of them. At the end, I will say I will continue making episodes of the series. So at the end, I would also like to say that like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the post notification bells. Until that, see you.